So, as another guest for Uncorked Wine Portfolio Testing, we have Jakob from Slovenia.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Jakob.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having
Welcome to
me.
Malta.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
So, I'm Jakob Simčič. I'm now the third generation that together with my brother are taking over the family business, the family winery. So our winery is named after my grandfather. So it's Edi Simčič, which is located in Slovenia, west part of Slovenia, just on the border with Italy. You would probably, the more known region is Koljo. So basically Koljo and Brda was once one region, but that it got cut in half by the border after the Second World War. So we are, as I said, a family-run winery. We farm at the moment 15 hectares, but only 13.5 are in production because we just planted some new plots, and we are able to produce around 60 to 70,000 bottles of wine per year. Depends how the weather is nice to us, of course.
And what are the varietals that you're...
So our region is quite diverse. So there's a lot of different varieties because there was a lot of different cultures and also states that
Can be influenced from France, from Italy.
Yes. So every this culture and every this state implemented some of these varieties, but so our main variety is still Rebula or Ribolla Gialla in Italian. In Slovenian is Rebula, which is still the most planted variety in the region. And for our winery, then we have two more local varieties, which are Friulano Tokai, ex-Tokai, or Sauvignon Vert nowadays, Sauvignon As, Malvasia Istriana, which is kind of more of a regional variety that is found everywhere in the North Adriatic. So from Istria to Karst region, Carso, and then also to the Veneto area. And then we have two international for the whites, so Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc. And then for the reds, we do mainly Merlot with a touch of Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon.
So, what grape is best tell the story of your estate? Is it Ribolla or...
Well, I think so. In our case, to understand our idea of wine, I think it's quite easy because we make only one style, only one idea. So we would rather use the variety as a tool to showcase where we are coming from, to showcase our area. So it doesn't matter if it's a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon or a Rebula or Malvasia. Of course, I always joke, when people ask me Rebula, and I always say Rebula is the best variety in the world, because if we don't say it, no one will say it. And it's also, it represents the culture best, because wine at the end of the day is a cultural product. So this is very important, but on the other side, we are one of the few wineries that produce quite a lot of red wine, which is not that common for the area. The production is like 50-50 now between red and white.
Italian counterparts.
Yeah,
Tosco.
Yeah, but usually the area of Brda and Koljo is much more white predominant. This was also shifted because of the market and all of that, but we are working quite strong with red cuvées especially, so always basement Merlot with some Cabernets on the side. And I think we're also quite well known for that all around the world. And in
French influence.
with the variety, of course. But as I said, we are trying to make Brda wine, not Bordeaux wine or any other wine. So using variety as a tool to showcase from where we're coming from.
And what you mentioned, that the heat is coming during the day and colder nights, probably the breeze from the sea. The grapes are having a lot of acidity. Are they having aging potential as well?
Well, so you need to understand. So I still say that we are a Mediterranean climate, but the location, if you look on the map, is quite specific because the region is in between the last part of the Adriatic Sea, and on the other side you have Alps, Julian Alps, with mountains that are above 2,000 meters above sea level. But we are still quite hot and humid also. So our wines tend to rather play on texture than acidity. So they are never wines that will have high acid, I would say, but they will have a very unique texture in terms of deepness of taste, and also very nice underlying saltiness to them, which would help with the feeling of fresh or feeling of drinkability at the end. Yes, exactly.
Which wine would you push here in Uncorked to introduce Slovenian wines specifically for Goriška Brda for the first time?
Rather, of course, it needs to be Rebula, but also the reds. I think the reds, because we use varieties that are planted everywhere in the world, basically, like Merlot and Cabernet.
From the terroir.
Yeah, so, but it's also nice for people to taste how they change, because I think there are quite some differences in the counterparts that you would find from more known regions like Tuscany, for example, or from Bordeaux, or from the New World also, you know. So I would, of course, first is Rebula, because it's still, it's ours and it represents who we are and the place who we are. But I would also say I would let them taste every wine, because I think all of the wines can tell something about where they come.
When it comes to Rebula,
Yes.
which dishes would you recommend to pair with it?
So Rebula is a very versatile wine to have with different foods, because it's not an aromatic variety, but it's distinguished by a very unique texture and also mouthfeel. So usually you can drink it just with some cold cuts of dry meat or cheese, or you can go some fish. You can also go some more difficult foods like white meat, like chicken and this kind of stuff, because Rebula always will let the dish be first, but it has this nice capability of like washing your mouth very well at the end. So it's I just recently had when I was in China last year. It goes very well, especially when it's a little bit more aged. So with some 5, 6, 7 years in the bottle, with some spicy foods, Asian spicy food, it goes incredible, which you would never assume. Yeah.
After experiment.
Yeah.
So one word that describes the Brda today, the Brda, Goriška Brda.
Saltiness.
And the one saltiness.
Yeah.
Jakob, thank you for coming to Malta. Thank you for meeting us here.
Thank you for hosting.
And I hope you will enjoy the Uncorked and that people will enjoy your wines.
Thank you.
Look
Thanks.
forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.